I'm Marcel Clarke. This is Hustle and Grow. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite ways to make money, stock market. And you know, I call myself a stock market architect, so it's time to prove it, right? All right, so ride with me for a second as we jump into my cell phone so I can show you a couple of things. Here we go. All right, now I'm in. So you see a couple of accounts there. I'm going to my individual account. All right, let me select Rivian. There we go. And just pay attention to this. It's just telling you total value, 1,033,000. How many shares I own is 100,000. And my average cost is very important. And we'll jump back to that, $11.98. And as you can see, I'm underwater on this deal. So I need to make me some money. But, you know, 1 or 2 points and I'm going to be back in the positives. All right. So now you see that. Let me come out of this. All right. Back to my vision board. Vision board, quick tip. Remember, studies show you access your cell phone over 150 times a day. So for me, that vision board that you see basically gives me a clear idea every single day of where we're going. I'd recommend that you probably kind of like look into it and at least figure out if it's something for you. But for me, it's incredibly helpful. Hope you like that. Now, I know you get tired of seeing me la, 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 la. So guess what? I invited a couple of my animated friends to give you a real quick tutorial of exactly what it takes to invest in one of my favorite companies, Rivian Automotive. Enjoy.
These days, you can utilize various brokerage firms, Fidelity Investments, Charles Schwab, E-Trade, Robinhood, to personally invest in the stock market. No broker required. Here's some basic stock market math. If I own a total of 50,000 shares of stock, original purchase price $15, my total investment would be 50,000 times $15 equals $750,000. If the stock price increased by $1, for instance, to $16, 50,000 times $16 equals $800,000. I would make $50,000 and vice versa. Today I will talk about Rivian Automotive, electric vehicle manufacturer. First, you need to know the definition of an IPO. It stands for Initial Public Offering. It's the price a stock will be opening on its very first day on the market. Rivian opened at $78 on the 11th of September 2021. First, you must understand that the stock market has opposing forces. It's the bulls versus the bears. Bulls basically believe that the market or stock, also known as equities, are in a positive position overall, which will produce positive returns. Bears believe the opposite, so they believe the market or stock will produce negative returns overall. Stock sentiment is very important as it pertains to buying stock. Sentiments can often be positive or negative. When Rivian IPO'd, sentiment was very positive. They had huge investors such as Amazon and Ford Automotive. Plus, the largest manufacturer of EVs, Tesla, was incredibly popular at the time. Unfortunately, sentiment has become very negative towards Rivian over the past 24 months. EVs aren't as popular at the moment, and the company hasn't turned a profit to date. Rivian's chart is in what's called a downward trend. It's currently down 90% from its original IPO price. However, here's a secret to making real money in the stock market. When everyone starts running for the exit, we invest. My initial investment was 50,000 shares at $15. However, shares dropped another 40% since my original purchase. So when it hit $9, I purchased 50,000 more shares, bringing my total number of shares to 100,000. This is a version of what's called dollar cost averaging, meaning I'm purchasing more stock at a cheaper price to bring the overall cost of my initial investment down. Average mean between $15 and $9 equals $12. Anything above $12 becomes a profit. In order to execute on this particular investment strategy, you should determine your investment window. I am a long-term investor, 5 years or more. Set it and forget it. However, if your investment horizon is short-term, typically less than 3 years, I wouldn't employ this strategy.
All right, y'all. I know that was fun, right? It's really cool. When I was a kid, I loved cartoons. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, we changed it up a little bit. But let's recap so we can close this out. Number one, due diligence is very, very important right now, okay? Now think about it. I mean, I have 100,000 shares of this company. I'm not going to just purchase them. So let me tell you a couple of things that I think are very smart for every investor. One, do really, really good due diligence by one, have you a network that you can basically use as a source of knowledge and education. For me, it's always CNBC. Honestly, they have a lot of experts in the field. They talk about many of my other positions. And secondly, a lot of times, like the CEO of Rivian, he'll come up when it's time for like quarterly results, and we talk about where we are in the market. He'll pop up and he'll talk about what's Rivian's next moves. Secondly, I might use Yahoo Finance to trace articles on Rivian to see how they're doing when it comes to production. And let me give you a couple of facts. Number one, Rivian spits out maybe 50,000 vehicles a year at a minimum. But two, they lose about $38,000 per vehicle right now. So that means they're not making any money. But three, they're saying that they'll be profitable by the end of 2024, which is this year. All right, for me, that's good stuff. Secondly, anytime I see an owner that's driving a Rivian, guess what I do? If we're at the restaurant and I see him, I'll ask him, how you like the vehicle? How you like your truck? They'll be like, oh, it's awesome. It's beautiful. La, la, la. See, I'm getting real-time information on the vehicle, and those vehicles are nice. So again, do your due diligence behind the scenes before you invest in any asset or any equity, period. That's the number one thing that will keep you ahead of the game. All right, very, very important. Then secondly, you want to make sure the following, when you're dealing with the stock market in general, look, I'm not advocating for any particular company, but make sure that you have a risk tolerance, because remember what I showed you on the dollar cost averaging, okay? When I bought those shares at, $15, they actually tanked another 40%, right? So when I had those 50,000 shares, when I was young, I would have panicked. I probably would have sold. But no, what you think about is, okay, if you really believe in the company, all right, when it dropped down to $9, I said, you know what? Let me pick up more shares, all right? So when you averaged it out, I ended up spending that $11.98 that you saw, right? When you were looking at myself, right? So that's the whole point. Like, to be in this game, you got to have courage, right? So now, yeah, I'm up to 100,000 shares, but look, I paid a little bit less for them. And if, the numbers go my way, I'm chilling in Antigua. So look, that's the way it goes. Remember too, IPOs, very important, because when you're really in the game and you've been in stocks for a while, a lot of times Fidelity will give me an opportunity to buy shares of a company before they even go public, right? Not a whole bunch of shares, but it might be 1,000 shares of a company. But the point is they give me an in before it even is available to the public, right? So IPOs are important. Quick stat, 90% of the time, within that 30 days, they regress below their IPO debut number. Really, I've watched it. I watched it with a couple of companies. So, if you want to get in early on, the first day or two, smart, but you probably want to get out because, they usually go back and they kind of fall back before they actually start to appreciate again. But again, the IPO game itself, lots of money to be made if, in fact, you're doing it the right way. And remember this, too. I'm a long-term investor, okay? So I don't do anything short-term. Short-term is less than 3 years, right? For me, I know Rivian's a brand new company. I know that they basically have time to kind of like recover. So for that particular position, I'm like, give it 4 or 5 years. I don't care, right? It's just something that I'm like, okay, if my bet is correct, then actually it can be very lucrative for me. But again, long-term investor. If you're doing short-term investing, this strategy will not work for you, okay? And you probably want to kind of like educate yourself really, really well before you start dealing with the stock market on that level, because it could definitely be complicated and it's easy to lose money. But lastly, this is my hustle and grow challenge. Every time Rivian appreciates by $10, I'm going to personally donate $10,000 to whatever HBCU is out there, whichever college, university is out there that has a performing arts program. That's from me to you, while we have only like a couple of hundred, viewers. So you guys keep that in mind. You hold me accountable. You see where we are right now on Rivian. I think I have it at like $10. Again, hit $20, $10,000 is going to a university, college, HBCU of your choice. So keep that in mind. I'm Marcel Clarke. This is Hustle and Grow. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so we can make more videos. And remember, if hustling's in your DNA, ride with me and watch us grow.